Okay, so this is going to be looking at section 10.3 and now looking at problems 10 through 18. So here in the first set we did addition and subtraction. Here we're doing multiplication. So really the only thing you have to know here is to multiply all the terms through. So if you look at the first problem, square root of 4 times square root of 3 plus the square root of 5, multiply each component through. So the 4, square root of 4, that is, gets multiplied by each of those terms, which I've done here. So it's the square root of 4 times 3 plus the square root of 4 times 5. The 4 got multiplied through each one. And I can pull out the pairs, which are 4s, which is going to give me 2 square root of 3 plus 2 square root of 5, which I could have done noting that square root of 4 is a 2, so the simplified form is just that. Going to number 11, I have square root of 10 times the square root of 8 minus 9. So again, I have to multiply that square root of 10 through each term. So I got the square root of 10 times 8, and I have a minus 9 times the square root of 10. So now I'll factor out things, see if I can simplify this. So under the radical, I factor out all the terms. And under there, I factor out those terms. So I can pull out a pair of 2's, 2 and a 2, times the square root of 5. And on this side, I can't do anything else. So it's 4 square root of 5 minus 9 square root of 2 times square root of 5, or square root of 10. I'll pull out that square root of 5 term just to simplify this a little bit, so it's square root of 5 times 4 minus 9 square root of 2. Number 12, 2 square root of 3 times 2 minus the square root of 3. Again, the key thing is multiply everything through, so that 2 square root of 3 gets multiplied by all the terms. So I've done there, so I've got a 2 times 2 square root of 3 plus 2 times square root of 3 times negative square root of 3. So that's going to become 4 square root of 3 minus 2 square root of 3 squared, which is, of course, just 3. So I end up with 4 square root of 3 minus 6, and that's my answer. For 13, minus square root of 8 times 5 minus 3 square root of 5. So again, multiply through each component. So I'm going to get the minus 5 square root of 8 plus 3 times square root of 5 times 8, which is the square root of 40. And the minuses, of course, there canceled. When I factor out the things under the radical, I get those terms. So I can pull out a 2 and the 2 there. So I have a minus 10 square root of 2 plus 6 square root of 10. So just rearranging things a little bit, that's 2 square root of 2 times the minus 5 plus 3 square root of 5, or just inverting the order of things in the inside there. It's 2 square root of 2, 3 square root of 5 minus 5, which again, you could have seen from here just multiplying the minus 3, 2, and noting that 8, the square root of 8 is 2 square root of 2. Number 14. 4 square root of 6 times square root of 2 plus 4 square root of 3. Again, multiply each of the terms through there. So it's 4 square root of 6 times square root of 2 plus 4 square root of 6 times the 4 square root of 3. That's 4 square root of 12 plus 16 square root of 18. I go here and I separate out the factors. So there I can pull out a 2, there I can pull out a 3. So I have 4 times 2, square root of 3, and 16 times 3, square root of 2, which I can factor out an 8. So it's 8 times square root of 3 plus 6 square root of 2. And that's my answer. Number 15, 2 square root of 6 times square root of 11 plus 7, multiplying each term through. So I'm going to get 2 square root of 6 times the square root of 11 and 2 square root of 6 times the 7. So 2 square root of 66 plus 14 square root of 6. Really, there are no common factors. I mean, nothing that pairs up. but I do have a 2, 3, and 11, and there I have a 2, 3. So I have 2 square root of 66 plus 14 square root of 6. And if I factored out, in there, if I factored out the square root of 6, I would have gotten the same thing I started with. So 2 square root of 66 plus 14 square root of 6. Number 16, 3 square root of 7 plus plus the square root of 3 squared. So that means I'm multiplying them times each other, multiplying each factor through using the FOIL, first, outer, inner, and last. So I have the first terms, the 2 inner terms, and then the outer term. And when I factor those out, it's 9 square root of 49 plus 3 square root of 21 plus 3 square root of 21 and the square root of 9. Square root of 49 is 7, so it's 9 times 7. I've got 2 of those, so that's 6 square root of 21, and the square root of 9 is 3. So I have ends up with a 63 plus 3, 6 square root of 21. So that's 66 plus 6 square root of 21 as the answer. And I could simplify that even more. I did this in pencil, just pulling out a 6. And that would leave me 11 plus the square root of 21. All right, going down to the last 2 here for number 17. I have 1 plus the square root of 3 times 1 minus the square root of 3. Again, multiplying a FOIL method, first, out, inner, and last. 1 times 1, 1 times the square root of 3, the square root of 3 times 1, minus 1 that is, and I've got the minus sign there, don't want to forget that, and the square root of 3 times the square root of 3. So that leaves me with 1 minus the square root of 3 plus the square root of 3 minus the square root of 9. So I have 1 plus 0, so those 2 terms cancel out, minus 3, which is just minus 2. And the last problem, 3 square root of 6 times 2 square root of 2 times square root of 2 minus 4 square root of 6. Again, multiplying through each term. So I'll get 3 square root of 6 times the square root of 2, 3 square root of 6 times minus 4 square root of 6, 2 square root of 2 times the square root of 2, and 2 square root of 2 times the minus 4 square root of 6. Factoring all the terms in the together, so that's a 3 square root of 12, a minus 12 square root of 36, plus 2 square root of 4 minus 8 square root of 12. So I put the 2 square roots of 12 terms together, so it's a 3 and a minus 8, and the numeric terms there, 12 times the square root of 36 is 6, 12, 6, and 2 times the square root of 4 is a 2, so 2, 2. So I have that minus square root of 12 from those 2 terms, a minus 72, and a plus 4. So that's a minus 68 minus 5 square root of 12. So that's my simplified answer. Minus 68 minus 5 square root of 12. And that completes this problem set.